Nobody has ever called. I don't know about anybody else, but not coming from me. I've never called this girlfriend a whore. He actually said it on his show. Well, maybe he didn't call her a whore, but he implied via the words. What were the words? Oh, conjugal visits. So he could come up with this conclusion from that statement that I said the word conjugal visits. Really? So far, you still haven't proved it. I've asked you to produce it, and you come up with a short. Still hit a word whore. Still didn't hit a word prostitute. Now he's not. Well, no, he's still saying it. After putting his own recording out, he's still saying it. Then he turns around and says, well, okay. He'll say, no, I don't care. You call my girlfriend a whore or a prostitute. Then he says, well, maybe you didn't say whore, but, oh, Christ. This guy's got to be put out of his fucking misery. I don't know, man. He's pretty much demonstrating that he's miserable. It's absolutely miserable. It doesn't make any sense. Not that he's ever made any sense before, but listen to him. It's complete nonsense coming out of his mouth. Oh, he admits that, he's kind of in alliance with his girlfriend on that report that she filed. He's not going to deny that. But again, I've seen his little short. This is the big thing he's been boasting about all this time. That, oh, I got evidence to show that you called her a whore and a prostitute. Well, me and everybody else on here, we haven't seen that. And if you read the comments, where is it? Where is it? You hide it under your pillow? Oh, YouTube took it off? Because YouTube had a vendetta against you? Boy, you were paranoid. Oh, yeah, all my videos disappeared. Poof, like magic. Well, the fact is you never had a video where I ever said anything like that at all. First of all, I never said it. Secondly, there could no possibility of being a video of such. Look, you could read things into whatever you want to read things in just to satisfy yourself, but if something don't exist, it just doesn't exist. But I guess I have a question for him. What are you getting out of all of this? Just out of curiosity. You sound really upset and strained and stressed. I'm just like, my normal self. You hear my voice. I understand your situation. It's not really good. And, we understand also that you're venting. Because what else can you do? Your lawyer apparently is not being very cooperative with you. Why don't you find a new lawyer? Well, better yet, why don't you represent yourself in court? Of course, I'll see you on that court date. How many times we heard, I'm not going to court. I'm not going to court. Oh, you'll be there. You'll be there. But so will I. I've read some of the comments on your channel, and they're all pretty much saying in so many words, and where do you think you're going with this? By constantly doing shows, blasting me, and this time, on this recording, you actually admitted. You actually said, so what a big deal, I called him a pedophile. He just doesn't get it. Okay, guys, we're walking together on the street. We'll go for a cup of coffee or whatever. So I'm fucking around with you. Say, you're a jerk off. That's not criminal, man. Then if I turned around and said in front of people, you're a pedophile, that changes the whole mood, the whole scenario. He doesn't understand. He just doesn't get it. You can't just call somebody such a vile name like that, because that name is a very powerful name that you called and labeled me. Besides, chomo and child predator, child molester. How do I make you understand why you're facing these 5 charges? Now, I know it's very difficult getting through to you and even your viewers and other people and commenters. They've tried on their own accord to try to make you understand that this is not something that anybody, I don't care if it's Philippines or America or where it might be, Britain, you can't just call somebody that. It's just not something you can do. But you did.
I didn't pull a 911. All right, bro, you're getting blocked. I didn't pull a 911 nobody. You son of bitches.
There he goes again. Anytime somebody has something to share, he blocks them. Are you afraid of hearing the truth about yourself? Is that what it really is? You're so guilty. You're in so much of a rage of your situation. These are your viewers. They got something to say. You won't allow them to say it. You won't allow anybody to have their own opinion. You just go off and you block them.
Bye there, Blaze. I've never pulled an apple on no woman. No thing.
Well, we saw that. I mean, that we do have video proof of. We saw that. Number one, you shouldn't be carrying a knife around. Number two, you use that knife as intimidation because, like most bars, you owed them all money. The girl was simply asking that, I can't give you any more drinks because you still owe us money.
So, you got something to say to me, bro? Jump on the show. The fucking thing is pinned up there. Come on. Come on the show.
No, you won't allow people to say anything. You block them.
Bro, come on.
Let's look at some of the comments. Boeing Media Group. And these are people's opinions. They were only able to get this out. And by the way, he erases all the messages on his show here. Racket 3739 says, he's such a fucking liar. You really think this hillbilly convict and woman beater, I'm just reading, has connections to BI? None of the crap he makes up is possible in the PI legal system. He's all self-righteous now, but he's treated every PNA he's been with like whores. I'm reading this from Racket 3739. Is this one any different other than his desperation? She's his only lifeline to the outside world, full of shit. These are your viewers. Boeing Media Group says, at 2 minutes and 25 seconds and 7 minutes and 15 seconds, if you fully believe that logic, you have also called Gilda a whore. And I think that they're making reference. Well,
Where you outright called her a fucking whore.
Oh, you see, there's a problem with this.
Well, there's a problem with a lot of things. Can't keep his story straight. Now, it's either I called his girlfriend that horrible name or I did not. Which is it? Now, he said on his show, which you've all heard, and that was a recording, by the way, from his last show, last evening. Well, maybe you didn't say whore, but Oh. The boy's got to kind of make up his mind. Look, I understand the man is suffering in incarceration there. I understand the conditions there. I've seen the videos. Nobody wants to be there, inclusive of me. However, sorry, I'm just making some hot water here. Before, he loses his total fucking sanity, which maybe, well, probably already happened. He needs to get a grip on himself and just face this goddamn situation. Stop doing videos, saying the same shit over and over again, and people are getting so goddamn bored. Well, inclusive of myself, of course, but the same thing over and over again. He might as well just make one recording and just play it back on his show. This will be the same thing he said from the last show. He's not guilty of anything, although he admits that he called me a pedophile and some other lovely words too, and lots of expletives in between. Damn, I'll be honest with you. I wish we could push this case a little bit lesser time than the next court date. Just to kind of get this shit over with and see where it's going to go. I'm already satisfied at the status quo, to be honest with you. Almost 19 months of detention, that's, that's no picnic. I'll admit that. And I'm sure that will play havoc on your mind when you actually don't have many people visiting you. Oh, now he's got an Indian guy from Bohol that's going to be coming by to visit him. An Indian guy. Who's that, John Balut? I don't know. You can't believe, practically anything he says. It's the same story like the boy who cried wolf. It's the same exact freaking thing. It ain't too much different. She's crying wolf all the time. It comes to a point where nobody believes him anymore because he has consistently lied to his own viewers. Hello, Judge. Hello, Sherry. Sounds like me over and over. No, I'm just responding to his, to what he says on his shows. Raining cats and dogs. You're right, Frank. He's never going to stop it. Well, he already said that. I'm never going to stop. Never going to stop. I don't know what he thinks he's gaining from that. I'm not changing my mind. But what a way to try to change my mind by just insulting me over and over again. That's not going to win me over. I mean, hasn't he figured that out yet? You'd be nice to somebody and they might be nice back, but it's a very interesting way of kind of pleading to have me drop the case by continually calling me a pedophile and a chomo, a small dick and erectile dysfunction and so forth and so on. Yeah, we've heard that. We've heard that more than we want to hear it. That is not the way with anybody to try to get the best out of somebody. By continually insulting him? Hello, Hedera. You gave Frisbee many. Yeah, I certainly did. More than he deserved. But you got to understand, he's more interested in his AdSense money. Imagine that. Than his freedom. Apparently, that's a lot more important. Can you imagine that? Pardon me, I'm just making my tea. Shit, I got up at 3:30 in the morning because something bit me. I don't know what the fuck it was. I have a little welt on my forehead. For one, I was itching at something. 3:30 in the fucking morning I got up, and I didn't return to bed. I did not return to bed either. So I've been up since 3:30 in the fucking morning. So I figured, get on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure he's probably had a show on overnight. By golly, he did. Oh my God. Hold on. Hello. Huh? Yeah, I know. How many chances can you give somebody? No, but there's no chances. I'm not giving him any chances. Actually, my girlfriend said, "Are you doing another live show again?" I said, "Yeah, I am." Okay, let me. I'm gonna have a smoke, Barry. Oh yeah. Feel that nicotine going through my system, Barry. That hits the spot. What a lovely, cool morning. Our power was out all the way till 2 p.m. yesterday. Then, when I hear that the power's on, I go to shut my generator off, which is leaking a little gas. If I don't hit a switch on there afterwards, then it'll leak a little gas, but that wasn't a problem. When I went to turn the main breaker on, which is mounted outside the house, so what the fuck's going on? Electricity wasn't going on. I'll tell you why. Ants. What invasive creatures they are. They'll get into your light switches. They killed my microwave. They destroyed my microwave. And they were trying to destroy my laptop. Boy, pretty nasty creatures they are. Anyway, I could see there was a lot of debris with that big main breaker I have outside, and that has to do with, turning all the electricity off in the house and just using your generator. But when you finish with the generator, you push it back up again. That allows you to utilize electricity in the house. So if the power is back on, that's what you put the switch back up. You turn off everything, the circuit breaker on the generator, and there's another switch. And then you go over to your outside breaker. So I had to kind of push it up and down, push it up and down. I'm gonna have to take it apart. I just don't have, it needs a special little screwdriver. I want to take that apart and clean it out. Debris, got ants crawling in and out of it, and they have sand they bring with them. They make nests. It's the sand and everything that kind of fucks with your circuitry. So I spent time trying to figure that out, and lo and behold, I turned it back up, and electricity came back on in the house. It was kind of weird because it seemed like I wasn't getting the voltage in the house. The little fan would go on, but be slow. My air conditioner would go on, but then it would read out the temperature, but wasn't giving out anything. It was just really weird. And it's probably, I don't know if it's the amperage or whatever the hell that's going on with that. But anyway, it's on now, and we got it on. But the generator's a piece of shit, first of all. I've had people look into this. It's leaking gas. You have a bar on there that you could turn the flow off, actually. So when you're using the generator, you're going to have it on the open position to allow the gas flow. And when you're not using, prevent flooding, you turn it off. Now, if you turn that thing on the on position, after you've shut down the generator, you'll see gas leaking out, mostly near where the filter area is. That's where it's coming out of. Anyway, I think I have a real big interest in getting another generator. Thinking how much I paid to have somebody come over to really investigate the issue, but that's not what the show is about. Anyway, you guys heard it yourself, his last video, and he did not produce a video where I've called her such vile names. I know what she submitted. I read it. I've got the paperwork here. There was no real video evidence or anything there. Just a lot of hearsay. He said this. He said, she said, one of those situations. I would be totally shocked if the immigration did this shit. Knowing what my actually wrote back. I've read it, and I've reread it, and I've reread it. Comes to one conclusion. What she submitted in her complaint was not valid. How many times can I read it? Read between the lines, whatever. So we've come to the conclusion, finally here, that nobody called her a whore, nobody called her a prostitute. But you sure have called me a lot of names, bro. Chomo, dick sucker, cum sucking. There's a list go on here. Pedophile, of course, a favorite. Child molester, groomer. And you think by saying that stuff, in your mind, of all minds, you really think that's going to help your case? That's a serious question. How do you feel that's going to help your case? Come on, regurgitate a few syllables. How do you think that's going to help your fucking case? Well, Mr. Kubota, you don't have to listen to my show either. How's that for an answer? See, you're not wearing my shoes. If you were wearing my shoes, Mr. Kubota, whatever your name is, then you wouldn't understand. Like I said, you got a wife, you have a job, you have a family, and then somebody utters something. Hey, you know what? This guy's a pedophile. He's a child molester. Do you realize that you can lose your job, lose your woman, children, the house, just from somebody calling you that? You know how word gets out, and people believe what they hear without really knowing the story. So don't give me that bullshit. Anybody that if you were in that position, you wouldn't do the same goddamn thing that I'm doing. And that's a fact. Hetera says, as you're getting older, have you trained? I don't train anybody. Trained your girlfriend and the kids to understand anything about running a home? Seems you are the only one aware how to handle problems. Oh, I think you meant well for that. Okay. Yeah, they know how to use the generator and stuff. They know who to call when there's a problem. My girlfriend is better than me at a lot of stuff here. She's quite technical. I never realized how technically challenged I was. She's a pretty good problem solver. Gotta give her that credit. See, the difference between her and me is that she's got the patience to examine something and figure out how to get around it, to put something together or analyze something, where my mind just kind of runs amok. She's a lot more patient. And she figures things out on her own. She's a smart woman, actually. Well, go get some help, Tommy boy. Best thing I could tell you. Okay, I'm not going to spend all morning on this. I did hear his last show because I got up early this morning. Something right on the forehead. I had a welt. And I remember I was itching, and that's why I woke up. I can't figure what the hell it was. We do have ant problems around here, but did it cause that much damage? I don't know. I woke up, I looked in the mirror, I said, what the fuck is that? Yeah, I had some kind of a reaction to some kind of an insect. I'm just going to assume it's the ants, because even these little guys, they're the big problem, not no big ants. These are little guys. They got a lot of punch in there, little bites. So I went and took an antihistamine. Still not gone yet. Went down a little bit, but I said, look at this. I said, come in the bathroom light. Let me show you this. I said to her. I said, what the fuck is that? Yeah, it was a bite of some sort. No, we don't have bed bugs. And there was no cockroaches that are going to bite you, because we don't have cockroaches here. Hardly ever see any. But we do have ants. I told you that they killed my microwave. Almost killed my circuit breaker outside. And the last time somebody went up in the attic space, they looked at some of the wires they had to replace. In fact, it was a brother who's an electrician, came over here last time and seen that some of the wires were being eaten up or chewed up by, I don't know, whether a resident rat in the attic would come around, or I don't think the cats would do that. Ants. That we have plenty of around here. Now, if you think I'm shitting about this, come live out here. And with the other house we lived at, we definitely had a big problem with them. I can imagine the tenants over there now, what they're going through, because we've lived there for 5 years. I'm not laughing at it, but I know exactly what they're going through. And I know the landlord too, and I just don't think she's putting too much care into the whole situation to really permanently remedy something, things breaking down. And a lot of landlords do. It wasn't me. Something was broke, I fixed it. A lot of landlords don't want to have to put out any more money than they have to. And many landlords are like that. You have a certain responsibility as a landlord. You got to out here. Well, that's a whole different story, really. It gets to a point where the people that they're renting to get so sick and tired of all this shit going on that the landlord's not going to be doing anything, that they know that they're going to have to remedy the situation by their own money and their own labor and efforts to take care of something that breaks down. If you're renting a house, for example, oh, I've been through that. Or they're going to tell you, hey, go halvesy with me. Because we had at the time at that house, we had a sliding window put in instead of the jalousie. Because we had an air conditioner in that room, and all the air conditioning was really going to go out the window. She goes, I'll tell you what. Actually, I had to make the deal to get anything done because she wasn't going to do anything. When I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go in halvesy with you. Oh, okay. That'll work. So that's what you have to do. Look at, what's his name? Philippines Information Channel. Shit, that little closet he's living in and things that are outside. He built a cabana or two. He did this, he did that, and this all for his landlord. See, well, what a great tenant that is. No, I'd like to have him stay as a tenant. Because I don't have to fix anything. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you all, it's kind of like how it is out here. If you're going to rent a place, there's going to be things going wrong. And unless your roof blows off, then yeah, the landlord has to do something right away. But if you're going to nitpick your landlord, oh, this just broke down and this just broke down, she ain't going to do shit. Is it her obligation to do that? Well, if you didn't cause the problem, then she has to fix it, or he, whoever it might be, as an owner. Goes along to territory of being a landlord. I've been a landlord. If something broke down, I fixed it or replaced it. But out here, it's a whole different scenario. They want every penny, every peso they can get for your rent. They don't want to have it. They hire cheap labor when they do something that really doesn't remedy the problem at all. And probably the 5 years I lived at the last place, there's probably 50, count them, 50 incidents where she had hired people that had no clue what they were doing. So the problem just kind of, revolved right back to the beginning of what the problem was. In other words, it wasn't resolved properly. Which brings to mind, resolve. Well, unfortunately, in this case that's going on, there is no resolve to this. Well, there is a resolution. That's going to be what the judge's decision is. And I'm sure there's going to be one. Someone who's so seemingly convinced that he's going home. Well, not for a while, anyway. Now we got 4. We got 4 here. Yeah. Well, I take one and then I don't go for the other one, don't realize there was one right there. So now we got 4, maybe more. You never have too many of these things. All right, so where do we end off on this? Yeah, I did hear that show, and he did admit I never called her that name. And why was he belching this out consistently for how long? He just said, maybe you didn't call her that name, but you said that. You said that. You couldn't prove it in your little short that you did, which is basically about conjugal visits. So I think we straighten that situation out. Yeah, they do have that. I imagine they have it out here. You can't just turn it around and say, well, I know what you meant when you said conjugal visits. No, I meant exactly what I said. Conjugal visits. Never whore, never prostitutes. I think that's getting a little bit old now. Maybe you need to change your tune on this. Because, it's been discovered that, and that was the big tape you were looking for. That was the big recording you were looking for. That was going to tell all. Didn't work. Didn't say anything. There was no implication that she was a whore or a prostitute. None at all. I didn't hear it. And I listened to that a couple of times. With my bad hearing, I wanted to make sure I was listening right. Well, 0 score on that one. Now maybe he'll stop. Oh, he continued to say that on his last show, didn't he? He continued to say that even after that recording that he put out on that short, he continued to say, even after he said himself, well, he may not have said the word whore, but, that's like what he implied. No, implication. Implying something is not fact. It's not fact. I could imply a lot of things. Unless you could back it up, it doesn't mean shit. And I would never call her that anyway. And I didn't. And that's the bottom line. Are you up, Popeye? Did you have that first cup of coffee? I'm having my tea. A little later than normal. Glad to help you out, Robert. Robert will always criticize my show, even though he knows what I talk about is very valid. But he doesn't want me to win in any way. Everything's a contest, everybody. And Robert will make fun of just about everything I say on here when he knows everything I say is quite valid. But he won't admit that. And that's not his purpose, and that's not the gain he wants. He knows I'm right. But he'll never get him to admit that. He'll put do simulcast, and he'll criticize what I say on here. But he knows I'm right. He doesn't want me to be right. Right, Robert? I'm still waiting for you to get that little hobby or something. And I really do picture you with khakis and socks up to your knees and black shoes. I really do envision that. I actually do. And it's been established you do go to bingo. How about some beach blanket bingo? That's different. When's the last time you did any beach blanket bingo? Know what I'm saying, Robert? Beach blanket bingo? You must live the most boring fucking life, sitting there waiting for my show to come on so you could sit there and replay it or simulcast it and make critique of it. You make critique of just about everything I say on here. I think that says a lot about you, but then again, people know that. The only reason people agree with you on your show is because they know you're just as big of a creep as the other guy is. They're coddling you is all they're doing. Yeah, you're right. If you don't see that, you're blind as a buzzard and deafer than I am. Anyway, proof of the pudding. Nope, never called her that. He admits I never called her that name. There you go. No need to talk about it anymore. Although he'll continue saying, you call my girlfriend horny. Man, listening to his show, you don't have to listen to it. Just go to a previous show. It's going to be the same content as a present show. When you're not missing anything, he's going to yell out the same expletives. He's going to put the accusative finger out there. They call his girlfriend a whore, a prostitute, which is, it's like getting so fucking old. This has all gotten old. Repeats the same shit over and over again. Hey, I only make responses sometimes to his comments and show him what a fool he's making of himself, and I get great pleasure on that. Then you don't know what to say to answer back. Well, you know. That's his solution to everything. Well, you know. Look, face the fact, you're incarcerated. You're going to be in there a while, Pugsley. You're going to be in there a while, Pugsley. Enjoy it. Hang up a tarpaulin with a beautiful beach scene or something in there. You know, make it more homely. You know, make it feel more like home. I know that's what I would do. I'd put some nice curtains. I'd have some kind of a nice tarpaulin or something on the wall. Oh, yeah. I would do some exercise, push-ups. I'd walk around and get my cardio in, whether it's in a cell or whether it's in the hallway. A lot of things you can do to lose that weight. But what do you expect when you're eating Oreos and hamburgers all fucking day long? You're going to look like Pugsley. You're going to look like Homer Simpson with the bald head and a big distended belly. What the fuck did you expect? And thank you for that show last night. That said a whole lot without saying a whole lot. You admitted that I never called her a whore. Then right back to it after that statement. The funny part. You still call my girlfriend a whore and prostitute, but I still haven't seen the video. News at 5. I still haven't seen the video. Neither has anybody else. Where is it? Oh, YouTube took it away. Yeah, likely story. You didn't produce anything, Goober. You didn't produce anything. Bottom line. You have a wonderful day in your detention.
All right, that ends another one. uh, I think somebody's upset because I critique his show. Well, if you put on a show, get ready to be critiqued. Simple as that. And so, what do? You know, it's like this. The complaint is in. You have a charge sheet, Frank. She doesn't have to prove shit. They're going to make a decision. This is not a court of law. The Bureau of Immigration can throw you out for looking the wrong way or being disrespectful. And when you say she's giving conjugal visits, and when you say she's a concubine, Frank, that's an insult. Okay? It may or may not rise to the level of implying that she's a whore, but calling a Filipina a concubine or saying she's giving him conjugal visits, that's pretty much an insult, Frank. And, Filipinos, Filipinas, they get insulted pretty quick. I mean, Frank, you just don't understand. You're going to have to leave the country soon. And when you come back, be careful what you say. But you may not get out because I do believe you're on hold departure. I mean, Frank, you can't sit there and say all those terrible things about Barry. That's cyber liable. That's the same thing you took Barry to court for. Eh? So we got the pot calling the kettle black here. Okay? And Frank, with you, it's all about control. You want to control everything. Frank, I'm here to tell you, and I feel very sorry for you. You have control over nothing. That's why you get up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, because you're worried. You have no control over this, Frank. You have no control over anything. Your destiny will be decided by the Bureau of Immigration. $40K per account in pesos. Frank. Yeah, Pinoy Troll, I tell you, it's something else, man. It's just something else with this guy. Come get me and call me and stank and on. You won't know what I want to say, and I come back. Yeah, I hear you, Scott. How hard can it be to keep your head down and enjoy retirement in the Philippines? I don't know. A lot of these expats make it very difficult. I've seen some very good expats and I've seen some real dumbasses. And, you know, when you look at this whole situation, I have to say, there's always one person at the center of it, and that's Barry Jordan. Barry Jordan has pissed the world off, and he's always at the center of the controversy, whether it's Frank, whether it's Dipshit Travel, Brevis, Drew Naughty, um, fucking Jay. I mean, if you want to see where it all stems for, it all comes from Barry Jordan. Okay? All this shit. Dipshit Travel, Brevis, the whole lot of them. They all got into trouble, some kind of trouble, trying to help this guy out. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Right? And then Barry was told this guy is a psychopath. He will keep coming, whether he's right, wrong, or indifferent. And he proves it every day. Now, can somebody answer my question here? Here, very simple question. He just said that I like critiquing his show. It's actually not a show. Don't call it a show. It's a live stream. You wouldn't know how to put on a show if you were instructed step by step. Okay? And Frank, your hypocrisy is beyond the pale. Okay? So tell me why, if anybody in the live chat can actually tell me why, if he is so right in everything he says, why does he take his shows down and put them on private? He calls them shows, but I say live streams. Oh, yeah, no doubt about it, Scott. They're both psychos. I mean, the other guy, he threatened to smash my face in with a brick when I called out his hypocrisy, you know. And then I caught another psycho this morning. He did a live stream yelling and screaming, I had a gutful, mate. I had a gutful. He still has a hot on for Aloe DeWinter. Okay. And, you know, he's never going to get a piece of Aloe DeWinter. Nobody is. Okay. So, and he's still mad at Dave Phelps. He's mad at me. And there's another one. He's using the pedophile word, just calling everybody pedophiles. So I wonder where Barry learned it from. Okay. And I really wonder where he learned it from. Okay. Because this is what retards do. They see their heroes use these words and then they repeat them. And they don't understand the consequences of them. But it's okay for Frank to use those words, call everybody in the book, those kind of things, while he's standing on Philippine soil. So if you're standing on Philippine soil and you're saying those things and you're insulting people, you're breaking Philippine law. Plain and simple. The only one that has freedom of speech is me, because I'm on American soil. I could sit here and say Frank is a groomer, Frank is a pedophile. I've showed you the video where he's grooming the 8-year-old boy. You have seen all the documentations. He owes $60K to the family and refuses to pay it. Now, his refusal to pay also turns to criminal action. So sooner or later, the people that want their money, that won the judgment, because Frank didn't show up. Actually, Aloe DeWinter showed up. Aloe DeWinter showed up and he spoke for Frank. It was funny, man. It's still up on Aloe's channel. Go see it. It's hilarious. Okay. And I hope Frank is listening intently. Okay. Because you have broken cyber liable laws while you're in Philippines. You are breaking the law of the United States by running and refusing to pay the judgment. That is a criminal offense, Frank. Okay? A judgment is levied against you in the United States. You have to pay it, Frank. You have to pay what you owe. If you don't pay what you owe, it turns into a criminal offense, Frank. Okay? And when they deport you, Frank, there are plenty of people that are going to report to the authorities that you're on your way home so they can greet you. That's something else you should worry about, Frank. Guaranteed. Worry about that too. Okay? Because they will have their pound of flesh, Frank. You cannot turn around and say you're this perfect, innocent guy when you've been peeping in windows, singing about another man's penis to an 8-year-old boy. That's grooming. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Pinoy Troll. There is much revision now, especially cyber liable. Right? Now, Frank, this is why your lawyer And your, what do you call her? Caregiver? What is she now? I mean, because she is married. She does have 8 children, but she's not married to you, Frank. So, oh, Frank, you're breaking another Philippine law. You're living with a married woman. Oh my God, Frank, how many laws have you broken lately? Frank could have paid the 60K and rent a house in the Philippines. Yep, he could have. He could have. But see, now here's the thing. He's going after Barry, hammer and tong, and he's crying, you know, I had it's the principle of the thing. I have my pride. He's ruining my reputation. What reputation do you have when you come on YouTube and sing about a man's penis with an 8-year-old boy in your lap? What reputation do you have when you lose a lawsuit and owe 60K? And the lawsuit is on behalf of the children. Right? What damages do you have? I don't see any. You haven't lost a job. You haven't lost a bank account. You haven't been excluded for anything. I mean, these are all valid questions, Frank. But yet you'll come on in the morning, in the night, and what will you do? You'll insult the living shit out of Barry, which is cyber liable. And Barry will do the same thing to you, Frank. He'll insult the living shit out of you. Cyber liable. Frank, when you get deported and BI says, sorry, we can't have you around here. You have to go. There will be no legal recourse for you. There will be no going to court. Once BI makes their decision, that's it. You're gone. Orange Man, back to Hawaii. Oh, and by the way, that's where they deport you to from your port of origin. You will have to buy a plane ticket back to Hawaii. That's what happens when you get deported, Frank. Okay? So it'll be a nice little trip from Philippines to Hawaii. And Frank, let me tell you what they will do once you get back to Hawaii. Your girlfriend or your caregiver will just turn around and sell the house, pocket the money, and she'll keep telling you over Skype, everything fine, Frank, no problem. House is nice. House is nice. Trust me, it'll be long sold. She'll move back in with Jimmy, and the family will be happy. The reason why I know this, Frank, because you give everything away. All right. When you started talking about how the kids speak Visaya at the table, and you think they should speak English, well, I hate to clue you in, Frank. It's their country, it's their language. How about you learn some Visaya if you want to be included? And 9 times out of 10, when the Filipinos speak Visaya, Tagalog, or Ilocano in front of you, it's because they don't want you to know what they are saying. That's just the way it works, Frank. Get used to it. You hooked up with what I call is the classic milkmaid. She got a house out of you, generator, all kinds of furniture. She, she, one of two things to happen. Either you fucking die or you get deported. And I think she's pretty happy that you're getting deported because it's looking like that more and more every day, Frank. Oh, I agree with you. Those kids hate Frank. They have nothing in common with Frank. Frank has never done anything for them. Eh? So, Frank, those kids can't stand you. They're loyal to their father. They're loyal to their mother. You mean nothing to them, Frank. Get used to that. Eh? Those those kids aren't your family. They do not like you, Frank. I have seen the videos and I can see the disdain on their face they have for you. You do not fit in as a family there. You've forsaken your real family. You talk about Bama's so-called daughter and his son, but you've forsaken your own daughter. You've forsaken your own brother. He died alone. You didn't even know he was dead. And you're the one that put all this out there on YouTube, Frank. Eh? And Frank, I'm very sorry that it hurt your feelings that I critiqued your show. But Frank, let me tell you, most of all, I feel sorry for you because that house you live in, there's no love there. There's only transactional. Right? See, you've already paid for the house, Frank, and you're not paying for anything more. What you're doing is you're pissing your little measly $1,400 Social Security check up the wall on what? Lawyers. Exactly. Fake love. That's all it is. Fake love. Okay? But it's time for me to get off my soapbox. I'm going to call it a night. And I hope you enjoyed my little talk. Frank's still paying rent. Yeah, to the lawyers. Oh, man. Oh, man. I tell you. All right, guys. I want you all to have a good night. I enjoyed talking with you. And I'll catch you all on the flip side, all right? This is Popeye One from the Popeye One live stream. Have a good evening and have a good morning.